everybody, it's Marianne. It's so right. And you all know I am a serger lover. Love to work on my serger. But when you're doing an overlock on your Baby Lock serger, and you want to get that cut exactly where you need it, so maybe a 5/8 seam or a 1/4 inch seam, sometimes it can be really challenging, because here what you would do is you would put the edge of your fabric near one of the markings, and then you got to figure out which one is going to give you your 5/8 or a 1/4 inch. So you would have to figure this out and then guide your fabric with your raw edge following those lines. Well, Baby Lock has made it so much better. We now have the new serger attachment that's going to change the plate. So now we can use our fabric guide on the new plate and still do overlock. If you notice, it says it's Marianne's. I'm going to be getting this one. It's mine. So now I want to show you how this new attachment goes on. This is the new table that's going to go on. And yes, it looks similar to the cover stitch table. But if you notice here, it's got an opening. So when your knife is trimming, your things are going to go down in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off the original one that comes on the machine. I'm going to push down on this tab, and this comes off. Then this is going to go on just like the other one. And what's going to happen is you're going to, once you start using this one, you're probably not going to want to use the other one at all. I can't imagine now wanting to use that now that we have this one. But now when I am trimming, the knife is working, and all the trims are going to go down here and go underneath. And if you have a table, it's going to go into the pocket. Or if you have a little piece of, I usually keep at home, I have a little mini cutting mat. And all my scraps fall on the cutting mat, and I take my little mat and dump everything in the garbage. But now let's get back to here. The new table has the holes like the cover stitch table does. So we have the 4 holes. You're going to be able to use this table for multiple attachments. But I'm going to show you the one with the fabric guide, because this is the one I think is going to be the one that everybody, you're all going to say, I got to have that table. So I'm just going to screw this in, and these screws come with the fabric guide, not this attachment. So now I'm going to just put this down. I'm going to secure it. Once you get this attached, then you're going to be able to adjust the guide where you want it. Because this here, this lifts, this locks it, and this opens it. And yeah, now I'm talking about the fabric guide that was traditionally used with the cover stitch table. But now we're going to be able to use it on with the overlock. So when you unlock it, you're going to be able to slide this. And then this edge is going to be where your fabric goes. So say, for instance, you want a 5/8 seam. If you don't have one of these rulers, get them. I have multiples all over my sewing room. So and on here, if you notice on the presser foot, all these little notches represent needle positions. So being that I'm set up for a 4-thread overlock, I'm going to be paying attention to my left needle, needle number 1. Needle number 1 is this notch right here, the second one in. And then I'm going to take my fabric ruler, and I'm going to put down for 5/8. I can see where 5/8 is. And then I'm going to line up the edge of the ruler with the needle mark on the foot. So I get that lined up there. I'm going to hold my fabric in place, and then I'm going to move the guide over and lock it down. So now when I'm stitching, I'm going to be able to do my 5/8 seam. Oh, my door's open. I had no power. Okay, so now I'm going to start stitching. My left needle is the seam. It's the actual seam that you would normally get on a sewing machine. And that's where your straight stitch would be. But now I'm using my left needle is the seam. So from here to this edge is now 5/8. And now it's going to be easy. I won't have to be looking at the marks on the original plate. So all I got to do is just keep the edge of my fabric going along. So after I go all the way through, I'm going to show you take my scrap that just trimmed off. And I'm going to take my piece just to show you how good it is. I take that right there and put my ruler back on to show you that it was 5/8. So there we are. It's 5/8 seam. So now think about this. You could do this with a 1/4 inch seam. So all you got to do, again, is take the edge of your fabric, and if you want 1/4 inch, you're going to get your ruler set up here, 1/4 inch. You can mark your fabric if you want. I just like to have my ruler handy all the time. So now I can get my 1/4 inch mark here, and then I'm going to move it over. So the edge of my ruler here is marked with this notch, and I'm going to hold my fabric still, and then I'm going to move my guide over. Now I can get 1/4 inch, but no, I won't be trimming. But my knife is still working. Because you know how when you handle your fabrics, you get all the little, I call them whiskers. So I'm not trimming the fabric, but I am using my knife to clean up the whiskers. So I'm not losing seam allowance or making my trimming away fabric that I shouldn't do. So now I have my 1/4 inch seam. So I have to tell you, this new table that Baby Lock has now come out with for this fits the Triumph and the Ovation. And if you don't have it, you gotta get it. It's awesome. And like I said just a little while ago, not just the fabric guide can go on here. There's other attachments that can be used on here. And hopefully I'm going to have other demos on how to use those other attachments. So please call the store if you have any questions, and I'll be glad to help you with your questions. Our phone number is 718-468-5858. So goodbye. Have a good day.